Welcome everyone to another episode of Big Brain MMA podcast, episode 58, UFC Vegas 71. Apologies for running a little bit late. I haven't actually set up anything, but I see some people in the comments flipping out. Lou Betcha, thanks for joining, mate. First time. I had to start it for you, mate. I'll share my screen now and we'll get to it. Alrighty. I'm your host, BigSteve, like always. I actually forgot my intro this time. Here we go. Decent card. I'm excited about it. Let's address the comments. Steve Gregory, always in. Nice talking to you, Lou. Are you the dude guessing on every MMA gambling pod who looks like Tom Perry a week after he died? Maybe you can answer that, mate. Yes, I am late, but what can you do, mate? I thought I'd do some more tape. I didn't want to jump on this podcast and, do my reads and not have complete reads since I won't be doing a final bet. So I took an extra half an hour, finish off some fights. So I'll give you guys some proper reads. I'm even surprised I did UFC and PFL this week. I'm competing on Sunday. I tried to get more sleep. I try not to gamble so much when I'm competing, get my mind straight. But I taped the whole card. So FIFA gaming, Steve, do you have Unibet? Yes, I do, but I'm limited and I hate them. Whenever you make another account, they limit it so quickly. It's horrible. Like and subscribe if you haven't. I'm getting a lot of new Twitter followers, but not many new. Well, I am still getting a lot of podcast subscribers, just not as many as the Twitter. So if you're from Twitter and you're listening, it's not that hard. Alrighty, I'll do a quick overview. I didn't do an overview last week because I had a special guest on, Lucrative MMA. Up my units to 1,500. I was waiting for a big night. I spent all 2022 on $1,000 units. So I think the week before I made like 5,000 something. PFL, KSW, Bellator. Bellator was my best. Hit Richie Smolin and a couple of others. Barely anything on the UFC. I find myself not playing much on the UFC. I find all the values on regionals this year. So I'm trying to take advantage. As for last week, played Esteban Ribovics, no regrets whatsoever. Almost knocked out Loic in the second. It went exactly as I thought. Got taken down, but just did enough to make it competitive. Won that money back with Farid, round 3 of decision. Put me in slight profit. Essentially threw away $200 on Panay. I don't even know what that is. I don't think that's even a quarter of a unit, but yeah, that was a bad one. Nothing on these fights. Blah 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 blah. Had the under 2.5, the juiced under 2.5 in the Brunson fight. I thought it was juiced, but I also thought, no way, Brunson doesn't get bonked by someone like Duplessis. And I also live bet Duplessis as an underdog after round 1, like clockwork. Same bet as Cannonier. You can't go wrong. Nothing on the Cody fight. I had $3,000 on Bo Nickel round 1, which is only 2 units. That was a very nerve-wracking bet, but I said to myself, look, you got to look at these units more as units, not as money. And yes, it's minus 200, but it's a lock. I'm sure Lou will agree with me. Lou, he's been loving Bo Nickel fight week. And yeah, I was sweating a little bit whenever he kept adjusting his arm triangle grip. I was like, just hold it, man. Hold it and just sit down on it. Stop looking at Jamie Pickett. But yeah, he got that through, which set up my night for the rest of the night. I was passing on Gamrot. Didn't think there was much value. And then someone pointed out to me on the Discord that submission or decision was $2 plus money. So I hit that for $300, that one. A little bit sweaty. Live bet Grasso after the first at $600. At $6, $1 to win 600, $100 to win 600. I thought Valentina looked awful. I thought once Grasso escaped the crucifix, she was getting lit up on the feet, which I didn't expect. Hence why I live bet it. So I was up 3,500 at that point, and then I just threw away $500 and gone, not even half a unit. I had a bad feeling. Everything about this fight was sus to me. But I just said, look, I still need to play Gane. The layoff, how bad Jones has looked recently. He's fighting one of the best heavyweights. I don't want to talk too much about it, but that whole result was a little bit sus to me. I think Gane's ground game is better than that. But yeah, let's move on. Good week. Good year. Can't complain. I'm having fun. I avoided the unit curse, and I had some good soccer bet wins today. So Lou, if you wanna give me some soccer bets in the chat, I would love it. All right, what do we got? Can you bet on Glory? Yes, FIFA X Gaming. I can bet on Glory. I always see it and I always go, oh, would love to take some Glory, but I don't have time. I don't know anything about kickboxing. I know a little bit, but Lou Bet you, Steve, are you a burner? I don't know what you mean. I do have a burner account. Or are you talking to Steve Gregory? No, he's not a burner account, Lou. I follow him on Twitter. FIFA, where do you compete in? Jiu-Jitsu, mate. Steve Gregory, I mean... No, I think, Steve Gregory's on Twitter, mate. I talk to him. GRBRCK, always a mouthful. I cashed out my Bo Nickel bet. You gotta stick to your guns, mate. All right, let's get to it. Like I said, I'm gonna try to keep this quick. Got a bit more tape for LFA to do, and then I can just go back to zenning out and not stressing about gambling. Alrighty, Carlston Harris, Jared Gooden. Interesting fight. Gooden's serviceable regional guy, not the greatest dude. He fights with his hands low. He's very hittable. He hasn't been knocked out much up until Impa. Kasanganya knocked him out again on the regionals. If Impa can knock him out, Carlston Harris can knock him out. Carlston's been a money train for me. I also think Carlston's a little bit chinny. He got knocked out in round 1 by Al-Salawi, who hits hard. And then, I've seen Sharpcut knock him out, dropped him with a spinning wheel kick. Hasn't been knocked out any other times, but you can just see on his tape, he's kind of got a weird reaction to punches. Christian Aguilera backed him up a little bit. But he's fought the who's who. He's got power in his hands. He's got an amazing Darce choke. Gooden's got power. I wouldn't be touching Harris at this juice line. I'll look at the under 1.5. I don't have anything. Let me just check quickly the under 1.5. By the way, I won't be able to live bet because I'll be competing, obviously. So I'm going to try finalize my bets in a way that I can't live bet. So a lot of them will be a pass, probably. Yeah, I don't even have... Best fight odds doesn't even have the over 1.5. So, yeah. Under 1.5 there for me. Because I think Gooden can knock him out. It's his best path. And I think Harris is just live. Either knockout or submission. The guy's a good finisher. Alrighty, Tyson Nam, Bruno Silva. Now, people hammering this Silva line. It's a bit interesting to me, right? I get that you want to fade a 39-year-old Tyson Nam, but he's no joke. He used to be ranked. I do believe he maybe belongs in the top 15. He's been fighting the who's who in the regionals outside of the UFC. He's got one-punch KO power, and he's proved that he can win UFC fights. He loses competitive striking battles to Sergio Pettis, Kai France, Matt Schnell. But does that mean Bruno Silva should be minus 200 against him? It's a bit silly to me. Bruno Silva. People forget this guy's chinny. Maybe not chinny, but he's been knocked out by a 3-1 regional guy in 7 seconds with a head kick. Right, that guy's 4-2 now. He put him out cold. He put him out cold in 7 seconds with a head kick. He was doing the fencing response. Then he fought Casey Kenny. He's getting lit up there. He gets busted up a lot. He fought Kali Taha. He kept getting dropped over and over by Kali Taha. Yes, Kali Taha was on all the juice, all the sauce. He was up at bantamweight. But it doesn't change the fact that, Taha hasn't really knocked out many people in the UFC other than a chinny Boston Salmon. And then also got submitted with an arm triangle choke, right? And then, fought David Dvorak, decent level of competition. Got hurt to the body there if you watch that back. Got busted up by Tagia. And yes, knocked out JP Buys and Victor Rodriguez, which were setup matches. I bet him. That was one of my favorite bets as a big underdog against JP Buys. Did a lot of time line movement. But it was kind of starting to get hit by JP Buys as well. So I don't like his... I don't like something about his defense. He's very scrappy. He had good pull counters against JP Buys, but I think Buys was there on a platter. That was in round 2 when he was already dropped multiple times. He was hurt. Had good pull counters. He set him up, but other than that, he occasionally throws the spinning back fist. Tyson there mostly has a big overhand right, but he lands it. He lands it on everyone, right? He lands it on Adashev, Kara France, Pettis, Rivera multiple times in round 1 and knocked him out in round 2. He landed it a lot of time. Matt Schnell, I can't get over the fact that I lost that underdog bet. Someone as chinny as Schnell, he landed a bunch and he just Chisnell, I guess, roll with him. And he knocked out Ollie Osborne. Ollie Osborne, say what you will about him, the guy's really hard to deal with in round one. Really long reach, really fast. We've seen him beat Charles Johnson, who's a decent fighter. He's going to be bigger than Bruno Silva. I get that, Silva's younger. He might mix in takedowns. Nam has good takedown defense. But this is going to be a scrappy stand-up fight where, Silva might have a bit more volume. But I don't see it as being more than a 29-28. He's just going to be liable to get hit at some point, Bruno Silva, when he gets a bit wild, a bit reckless. Throws a silly spinning back fist. So, I don't know why he had the layoff. But, this is a big dog of pass for me. I just don't... What win in the UFC did Bruno Silva have that makes you comfortable betting him a juice against Tyson Nam? Victor Rodriguez is chinny, JP buys. I think competitive fights with Dvorak and Tagir are skewing this line. It's an easy dog or pass for me. I thought about the over 1.5, especially if you're liking Silva, but then I refreshed my memory with how many times he's been rocked in the KO on the regionals and dropped. So dog or pass. I haven't played it yet because money is still coming in on Silva, surprisingly. So very interesting. Let's address some of these comments. I'm having a lot. UFC betting experience, welcome, mate. He likes Silva. Silva decision plus 200. Yeah. I also have, it's hard to bet on someone like Nam who doesn't throw much. But it's just, the line's getting a bit out of whack. Nam tweeted something about taking edibles. It gets finished, I guess. Yeah, solid argument. All right, let's move on. Let us move on. Tony Gravely, Victor Henry. I really don't want to do anything with this fight. It's a dog or pass for me. I was cautioning everyone parlaying Victor Henry against Assunção that he doesn't really fight like that usually. His regional tape, he's getting taken down. He's very hittable. He's getting his back taken. Sometimes he's got good get-ups. Other times he's playing jiu-jitsu too much. Denis Lavtiev, he fought him before and he beat him in 2018, a Russian dude. He had very good scrambles and get-ups, instantly. And then in the rematch right before the UFC, he lost the decision to him 2 years later. He was just more so giving up takedowns easy, and he was more settling on his back more like a turtle. Maybe that's because, he's 35 years old. He's getting older now. Maybe that Russian guy improved. But, his fights in Ryzen as well. Just easy takedowns. Trent Girdham, some Aussie guy that I've never heard of. He was easily taking him down. Yuki Montoya took him down. He knocked him out, but pardon me, not Montoya. He knocked out some other Asian dude. Masoni Kanahara, easy takedown. Yeah, even Raoni Barcelos caught his kick, front kick, and took him down. And then against Rafael Assunção, he kept throwing the front kicks and kept getting him caught. And Barnett told him, don't throw those kicks anymore, and he couldn't stop throwing him in round 3. It just shows a lack of IQ. He is hittable. Tony Gravely hits like a truck. I think Gravely most likely wins round 1, pretty high clip. He busted up Basharat with a big knee early, cut him up. He's knocked people out with one punch, which is pretty impressive at bantamweight. And Henry is hittable. At some point, he's going to get cracked. He kept getting cracked by Assunção. Yeah, it's a dog or pass for me, but it's just like, how do I bet someone like, Gravely when in round 3 I can see the takedowns coming, being harder to achieve when he's going to gas, and Henry's got better cardio. I can see him getting up much better in round 3 and probably pressuring and lighting up Gravely. I feel like, Gravely wins round 1, Henry wins the round 3. But I can still see Gravely getting takedowns in round 3 because his wrestling is so good, and Henry, is a bit give or take with the takedown defense and the playing off his back. So it's a dog or pass. There's not that much juice on Gravely for me. I feel like the lazy capping, I'll have this at Pick'em. It's a crapshoot fight. This is one of the fights I would love to live bet. Obviously, I don't have that, so I don't want to touch it. JJ Alleridge, Ariana Lipsky. I'm not going to click on this one. I don't want to talk too much about it. Obviously, can't play JJ. I wouldn't even play her at the minus 200 early line. All you have to do is watch her loss to Sabina Maza, which she won, but she puts no stamps on rounds. She's just a Jap 1-2 merchant. She's a great underdog because she does have really sharp striking and good IQ, but not athletic. And then you watch her fight against Casey, Courtney Casey, who is a similar archetype to Lipsky. She'll throw hard winging hooks. She's more athletic. She's got some pop on her punches, but she's got awful takedown defense. And JJ proactively wrestled there, and she almost lost. She should have lost a split decision there. So the decision she got robbed against Mazo, she got back against Casey, but there's no way you can play minus 200 when Lipsky hits hard. She's a more athletic girl. She cracks. JJ's just going to sit in her guard, right? Every girl she's taking down, Robertson, Demopoulos, she just sits in the guard and just holds her there. Lipsky actually does have some scrambling from the guard. It's when you mount her, when you get her into side control, that's when she falls apart and kind of gasses out. That De Padua girl, she's a black belt. She kind of scrambled against her, got some good positions. So you essentially can't touch Aldridge. I don't know if I can touch Lipsky because the takedown defense is so horrendous. But yeah, I guess the only thing, gun to my head, the thing that I'll play is JJ by decision. But yeah, I mean, it's minus money. It's pick 'em. It's just horrible. Horrible look. Yeah, maybe round 3 or decision. Yeah. But then she could still get robbed. Yeah, it's a dog or pass. I just don't feel comfortable playing anything here. Let's move on. All right, Mario Batista, Guido Canetti. Some people were pointing this fight out to me, as an under 1.5 merchant. They were pointing out to see if I like the under 1.5. I watched a few fights and I just reminded myself that Guido, he robbed me of a few finishes. He's actually more durable than I thought. He mostly just gets subbed, right? Survived against Mana, went late. I don't think he's finishing Mario Batista, so it's essentially, you're relying on Mario to finish him in the under 1.5. It's minus 200 now. I wouldn't touch it. I usually when I hammer my under 1.5s, and while my record is so good, I like to see finishing upside from both guys. I like to see quitters. I like to see gassiness. I like to see high finishing equity from both dudes. Here I just see, is Batista going to batter him and finish him late, or is he going to take him down, submit him early? Guido is dangerous early. Maybe Batista takes it easy. But yeah, I would rather just, the decision is horrible. The finish is horrible on Batista's side. It's it's horrible. So maybe just play Batista by submission. Like I said, Guido does love getting submitted. Kang submitted him. Vera submitted him. Vera had to kick the crap out of him first in round 1 and then submit him. Got an opportunistic rear naked choke. So he's durable. He's not just going to, let you knock him out or easily submit him. You have to just give him a beating. But yeah, I mean, looking at these fights, Henry Briones under 1.5. Kang under 1.5. Yeah. No, not for me. Not for me. Maybe Batista by submission, but I don't know what that is. My bookies are very slow this week. Very slow this week to open up. So nothing on this fight that I like. Let's move on. All right. Cedriques Dumas versus Josh Friend. This is the Twitter mush of the week, as everyone has said. I tried fading Dumas against the decent kickboxer on Octagon. I think that guy would have absolutely sparked him if the fight went out of round 1. I hammered the under there to kind of hedge me. I regret not playing Dumas. Submission was paying like plus 900. But yeah, these guys have a lot of similarities. Cedriques, tall, long, jabs and leg kicks. Same as Josh Friend, jabs and leg kicks. Both have tall man defense. Cedriques really hates being on the back foot, just freaks out. When the kickboxer put him on the back foot, he just didn't know what to do. Backed up with the chin up in the air and then just shot up for a really sloppy takedown, but he just kind of got him down anyway, and then locked in an opportunistic guillotine. Friend is the same. If Friend's in the center, throwing 1-2s and jabs and leg kicks, he's cruising with the fight. If he gets backed up, that's when he gets wrestled. He's been wrestled before, not just against Hernandez. Robert Gidron, he wrestled him as well in 2018. He gets dropped a lot. Obviously, Rodriguez put him out cold. Robocop. He got dropped by Vellante. He got dropped by Joel Bowman. He beat both these guys, so I don't know if he's chinny. Might just be the defense, the tall man defense. But he's put out people cold as well. A lot of people, Bruno Rivera with a check left hook. Lamar Gozi, he just absolutely murdered him with a knee from the clinch. He's got power, man, and he dropped Joel Bauman before he rear naked choked him. So he's got decent wrestling, but he's not very athletic. I think Dumas is more athletic. He's got power, which is why I'm scared playing Fremd at this high line. I was scared of playing Friend against Gore, even though I thought he was going to be lighting up Gore for most of the fight. And Gore did wrestle him a bit, and he got up and survived. And he was lighting him up, but he just showed a really bad IQ, constantly going for takedowns when Gore was the one out wrestling him, and then eventually put his head in the guillotine. And that was actually the first time he got submitted, other than amateurs in 2015. Right, he survived some deep guillotines by Fluffy Hernandez, whose guillotine is amazing, submitted Rodolfo Vieira, and then he gets submitted by someone like Gore, which is just peak MMA for you. But yeah, it's a dog or pass for me. I've seen Cedric dropped on the amateur scene. He's fought nobodies, fighting on Icon, Gamebred, and island fights. That's the biggest red flag. He was wrestled by Miles Lee on CFFC 81 only 2 years ago. So he's fought nobody. That kickboxer was the best guy he's fought. He had a close wrestling grappling fight against Aaron Heiderbro, who he also fought Jared Gooden on the regionals, and Gooden, I thought Gooden did much better than Dumas. So yeah, it's just like, this is a massive step up in competition. I guess he can knock out Friend and just really prove nothing. Just that Friend is still chinny. I guess he could submit Friend. I'll be surprised. I don't think his jiu-jitsu is that good. But yeah, this is a dog or pass. I'd rather play the unders here. I think it's a volatile fight. But yeah, the bookies are onto it. What do we have? The under 1.5 is a pick'em. Maybe that's a spot. Maybe that's a Steve smash spot. But yeah, I just feel like if Dumas doesn't finish him, there's going to be a lot of jabbing and leg kicking from Josh Friend, and that might take it over. The Gore fight is finished under. So did the Bauman fight. Valante's pretty durable. Yeah, a lot of unders. That could be the spot. Stay tuned. This could be under 1.5 for Steve. Cedric. I feel like, I don't know what Cedric's durability is like. Like I said, I've seen him dropped on the amateur scene by some small, stumpy guy. That could be a play for me. Or it doesn't start round 3. But yeah, dog or pass. I might even do both. I might sprinkle a little bit of Friend, and I might sprinkle a little bit of doesn't start round 3. But yeah, I think the money on Cedric is crazy. This is a step up in competition for him. A guy that's fought who's who on the regionals. But yeah, Friend's got his weaknesses, which is why I understand people betting the other side. Let's move on. Rafael Assunção versus Davey Grant. This is one of the fights I was taping with the last half an hour. That's why I wanted to start a bit later. Another step down for Assunção. He had a step down against 35-year-old Victor Henry, which I just spoke about. It was a perfect matchup for him. Henry is just hittable, and he plods into range, and Assunção was always going to be there live to counter him, and he was going to catch his kicks and take him down, considering Henry doesn't have good takedown defense. I guess the same could happen here. Grant is very wild. He can be hit. He can be taken down. I just think I would rather lean with the youth here. Not much of youth, 36 compared to 40 or 37. I just think Assunção, he might counter him. He might go for takedowns, hold Grant down a bit. What's his name? Smolka did it. Vera did it, but he survived against both. He's not getting submitted like he used to at the start of his UFC career. Some deep positions against Vera. I had Vera round 3 there. That was one of the most brutal beats for me. Seeing Vera had the rear naked choke with blood on Grant's face, just holding my breath, counting my money, and Grant surviving. So I don't. When's the last time Assunção got a submission? I think it might be some sort of guillotine choke or arm triangle. Let me have a look. He knocked out Matthew Lopez in the 3rd, who's chinny. That was 5 years ago. I don't think that's happening. Yeah, I don't even know when the last time he got a submission. He tried to proactively grapple against Sandhagen, and even that was 3 years ago, 4 years ago now. I just think he might get some takedowns. He might counter Grant, but Grant has so much volume. He's constantly kicking, spinning wheel kicks, calf kicks, body, head. Assunção going to back up. I know a lot of people are saying that Assunção, he negates people's volume, but Grant just seems like a junkyard dog. I don't think he's going to be. I don't think he's going to be scared. He's always in there. He's brawling with Yanez for 3 rounds and going to split decisions. He's getting busted up, but his chin's holding up. He's brawling with Vera. He's taking Vera down. He got dropped by Martinez, came back and knocked him out in a second. He's brawling with Smolka, getting taken down, got mounted, ended up in the rear naked position. He escaped out of it. So that's what I think is going to happen here. There might be some sweaty moments, but I think attritionally over the longer period, I think Davies is going to kick the crap out of a 40-year-old Assunção. I think the finish might be a good spot here. Assunção never used to get knocked out, and now he's getting knocked out by people like Simone and Cody, and his low volume. I just think it's a split decision path for Assunção here. What's the finish? Davy Grant by finish, $3. It's not bad. It's not bad. Maybe play the unders if you want to play it safe. It's just I don't know how Assunção is going to finish Grant. Just the way he fights these days. But actually, or maybe Grant KO decision, $2.15 plus money. There you go, good bet. You're welcome. I just don't see I don't see him subbing Assunção. Does he really sub anyone? Not really. Yeah, so Davy Grant by KO decision, that's a good spot. And Davy Grant by KO. If anyone can let me know out of the bunch of listeners that are listening what Davy Grant by KO is, if they have it on their books. But yeah, I just don't feel comfortable playing Assunção by a 40-year-old about to be 41 years old. Lack of volume backs up against a junk-like dog like Davy. And Davy's really underrated, man. He's a really underrated, unranked fighter. Giving wars to Vera, giving wars to Yanez. Knocking out Martinez, knocking out Smolka. He's a good dude. Had some sus moments early in his career, against Bermudez and Stasiak, but seems to be improving with age. So yeah, Grant or pass for me. And I like those KO and KO decision props. You can just sprinkle Assunção by decision, right? He was an astronomical price against Victor Henry in his last fight. What is it here? Yeah, it's horrible here. They caught on. Grand KO plus 210. That doesn't sound right, mate. 250. Yeah, it's only slightly better than... Yeah, 50 cents better than just the finish. Yeah, I'll probably just play the finish, I guess. Thanks for that. Alrighty, what do we have next? Lucas Brensky, Carl Williams. Yes, crapshoot of a fight. I would have loved that pick him on Carl Williams. Even the $1.72. I would have loved that as well. But obviously the line has moved a ton. I get it. Carl is, he's going to get takedowns here. It won't be hard at all. He's a really athletic, strong wrestler. He's a bit one-dimensional, but he does what he needs to do to get the wins. I see some people saying he's a natural lightweight. He's got the same measurables as Lucas. They're both 233 pounds, but one of them, Carl, looks a lot more solid, a lot more athletic. Doesn't have any flab on him. He doesn't look... I'm pretty sure he was a massive light heavyweight, so he doesn't look like a small heavyweight here. Seems to have cardio for days. He's a lot more athletic. He does seem to have power as well, but he just doesn't strike much. I have some questions about, what's his name, Lucas's chin. Right, I've seen him knocked out in 24 seconds back in 2017. That's why I played the juice on Budai. I thought Budai was either going to knock him out or just break him. And, Bresky came out looking like a really low-level heavyweight Don Cruz. Cardio improved. He was circling around. He does have good get-ups. The Michael Keita fight back in 2019, Keita, just knocked out Omialenchik in KSW. He's always a decent veteran. Keita was throwing him around, but he got up every single time, and he would have won that fight 29-28 if not for a point deduction for an illegal groin strike, and it ended up being a draw. And then he beat Ednaldo Oliveira, who's 20-5. If anyone can show me that Ednaldo Oliveira fight from Babylon, I would love to watch it. The guy's 21-11 now. Doesn't seem to be the best fighter, but I would love to see if there's some more wrestling in that fight. since the Keita fight. What's the difference? It's not much difference. It's only 5 months difference. But yeah, he showed good cardio, good striking against Budai. So I guess I see some people taking the shot on him, but my only problem is there's not going to be much striking here. Carl's going to go for takedowns ASAP, and then he's on his back. And yeah, he's probably going to get up because Carl doesn't have good control whatsoever. But it's just like he has good cardio, so I just feel like he's going to take him down again and rinse and repeat. I just seen him do it against the heavyweight guy for 3 rounds, but that heavyweight guy was a turtle on Contender Series. He was a true turtle. So yeah, I can't really get behind Lucas, knowing that he's going to be giving up a takedown ASAP in the fight. Maybe stay on his back, or maybe get up and just get mat returned for majority of round 1. So yeah, it's a hard one. This would be a perfect live bet fight, right? I mean, my comp is starting at 9 a.m., so who knows? Maybe by this fight or the main card, all my matches are over. Maybe someone pulls out. Maybe I can live bet this, but I'd rather live bet this. See how the get-ups are of rescue. Maybe Williams starts to slow down when someone's actually showing him resistance. But man, if you watch his tape, he's mat returning people over and over again for 3 rounds straight. Seems to have great cardio. So yeah, it's a dog or pass for me, or favor or pass. I don't know, but I get why the money's coming in on Carl. Alrighty, Victor Petrino, Anton Turkaj. This is quite the volatile fight. We got a comment here. Front kick MMA. Lucas Gaston Contender 2. We'll gas faster. We'll get ups here. That's what I'm thinking. But yeah, I mean, his cardio looked alright against a massive Budai who tried to hold him against the cage, and he was constantly circling. Yeah, it's a low level fight. All right, give me 2 seconds, guys. I'm just gonna get some tea. My mouth is getting a bit dry. Alrighty, I'm not making the tea. Don't stress. It's here. Don't freak out. Alrighty. So this one, Vitor Petrino fight. I thought about playing him as a slight favorite. I remember Turkaj. His regional tape was just absolutely horrendous. He's quite wild. He throws spinning back kicks. He's always on his back. He seems to have horrible takedown defense. That's one of my under 1.5s was him against Jalton, just because I didn't see him stop a takedown. His Ibo Aslan fight on Brave FC, he got a 2nd round rear naked choke, was essentially losing the whole fight up until then. Getting taken down, throwing, spinning stuff, falling on his back, not getting up for the remainder of the round. Then round 2, fight started standing again, got leg kicked, fell down again. He seemed gassed. He seemed to be breathing heavy. I was just like, this guy's so sloppy, and then when I watched his Contender Series opponent, Dos Santos, I'm like, I would love to play this guy as a massive underdog. He's just a decision merchant. He doesn't do much. And I thought, if Anton doesn't finish him, I guess he could be close, but you don't want to bet on these low output decision merchants because their path is usually a close split decision. And Anton went out there and did what he had to do. He just held on to him, used his grappling, couldn't ground him, so he couldn't take his back, couldn't finish him. Just went to a decision, and then I was kind of impressed how much he survived against Almeida on the ground. Showed some good submission, defense to get out of there, and he was working his way up. He was quite undersized. I think he weighed in at 214, right? This was meant to be a catch weight of 220, which means he didn't cut weight at all, and he's only 9 pounds over the light heavyweight limit. So this guy doesn't cut much weight. He doesn't weigh much. And you look at Victor Petrino on the other side, this guy's massive. This guy's so juicy. He's breathing heavy by round 2 just because he's so, muscle heavy. I was going to play him because I thought, I played him against Bellato on, I played Bellato as an underdog on Contender Series, and that was like the Twitter dog. And the more I taped, I started to not like him because I thought Bellato was chinny. And I thought, Bellato might have some grappling success. You see his fights against Everton Polacquini, who was 0-0 at the time. He was grappling him, and he won a close decision. And obviously, Gadzimurad Antigulov was grappling him, ex-UFC fighter, good wrestler, on UAE Warriors. I watched that fight. You can only watch it on UAE Warriors app on your mobile. And then round 2, he sparks him. Petrino sparks him. He's looking gassed. He's looking hittable, and he just gets in the swinging war and he sparks him. Same as Bellato. Bellato dropped him. Bellato had his back standing. And then they're back in the center of the cage in round 2. He looks gassed, and he just knocks out Bellato. So you can't stand with this guy. He's carrying his power late. And it's just how hittable Anton is and how wild he is. And, I see people saying he's got a good chin. Yeah, he's got a good chin. But you don't want to test that chin out against someone like Petrino. That's why I was going to pay Petrino as a slight favor. And then I got home and I was just like, him getting hit by Bellato and him being that gassy, Turkish at least most likely has the better cardio. I don't want to play a gassy guy at minus money. And then he went to pick him. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to retape this again because, pick him. I kind of favor Petrino slightly. And then I saw the unders here, right? Someone pointed it out in the stream. GRBKCK under 1.5. Potentially, mate. Potentially. George Anara, thanks for joining us. I love Petrino to spark the pleasure, man. Yeah, I saw the unders, mate. And the under 2.5 rounds is $1.76. Quite close to pick him. And I didn't understand that at all, right? Petrino been in round 3 once in his entire life against that Everton Palaquini guy who's now a decent fighter. I think he's like 6-2. And Turkish, made it to round 3 once in his Contender Series fight where he just held on to that guy. I held on to that guy, a Santos guy who's just a decision machine. Like I said, no danger to him whatsoever. And even then in rounds 2 and 3, that was the fight that made me want to play Petrino. He was getting hit by Santos, who has no power. He was getting hit and his head was bouncing back. So I was like, man, this under is nuts. I locked in $3,000 on it, 2 units, right? I plan to retape this fight. So watch my Twitter. When I have big bets, I have to retape because, Monday, Tuesday, I'm just quickly taping, writing my notes, locking my bets in, and then, finalizing later on after weigh-ins. And the line's moved now. It's $1.60. No, it doesn't go. The season doesn't go. Is minus 200. But the under 1.5 is, decent plus money. And, Anton also has weird, underrated finishing upside. He's got a spinning back fist knockout in 13 seconds. That fight that he was losing that I mentioned to ASEAN, he was losing, and he just jumps on the rear naked choke and locks it in. He's very opportunistic. And we've seen Petrino get cracked, knocked down. We've seen him get his back taken. I feel like surely someone's getting finished here, right? Someone's getting finished here. I just have to check. Maybe I do a smaller stake on the under 2.5 or plus money, 1.5. But I'm definitely keeping the under 2.5. Whether I have 2 units, I don't know. It's a bit scary. But I'm definitely keeping 1 unit. That line is probably my favorite bet so far. I don't understand why Bet365 opened that line. But obviously people have corrected it. But it was still there yesterday. So very interesting. So that's a play for me. Front kick. Striking defense looked hard in Contender for Tukash. Petrino seems like a guy who'll get the KO, get finished. Petrino KO, Tukash sub when he gasses. Yep, under 2.5. I agree, mate. That's what I just mentioned. So we're on the same page. At the moment, one of the only bets that I've locked in with strong conviction. All right, let's move into the second fight of the main card. Said Nurmagomedov, Jonathan Martinez. By the way, guys, there's more than 20 of you. If try something new. If you have any favorite Bellator bets, write it in the chat because I'm going to tape that after this. Giallo, where are you seeing plus money on the unders, mate? You're using Neds? No, Bet365. Bet365 has the under 1.5 at plus 220, plus 120, which is $2.20. Bet365. They're the ones that opened up under 2.5, that crappy line too. And that's for me in Australia, after everyone's already smashed it in Vegas and stuff. UFC betting experience. If you go to distance, it has to be Anton decision. No, well, maybe, mate. Maybe. Who knows? Anton is at a big physicality disadvantage here. Like I said, he weighed in at 214. Weighed in at 214 without a cut against Jalton. So he's only 10 pounds over, right? I guarantee you this Petrino dude is like Paulo Costa. He probably weighs 230, maybe more. That's why gas is so bad. Right, I don't know if he's going to wrestle this guy. And the jiu-jitsu guy, Bellato, that he fought, he's got a lot more power and he's got a lot more dangerous jiu-jitsu. He's a lot more physical and he couldn't hold him down. And Antigullo is a better wrestler than what's his name? Turkish as well. But yeah, I have to retape it. I feel like there could be a few plays on this fight. I agree with everyone. Tukai's sub $8.50 is crazy. I agree. Akai, that's a good one as well. Giallo, choose by reactivate my Bet365. Mate, you need Bet365. It's the best bookie, hands down. I have NADs, I have all of them, but Bet365, hands down. It's a sad day when I get limited on them, which has happened before, and it's going to happen again. But you need a Bet365. No brainer. Alrighty. If anyone's got Bellator bets, let me know. I would love to discuss them at the end. Said Nurmagomedov, Jonathan Martinez. So this is a popular dog, Martinez. I get it. He's going to get a striking fight most likely here. Said occasionally does go for takedowns, but I do think that Martinez has good takedown defense. He's fought a lot of similar matchups with the sprawl and brawl. Perez, Dvalishvili, David Grant, Precky Sains, a lot of these are Asian dudes. He has a good takedown defense. He's only 28. He's probably improving. So yeah, I think it is going to be a striking fight. But the thing is, why I can't really play this, Jonathan as a dog, is that Said is going to get a striking fight too, right? And I see people trying to fade him because he's slowed down against Douglas Silva de Andrade, and I passed there. I wanted to hit de Andrade, but I passed because I see that he slows down. He slowed down against Barcelos, slowed down against Scoggins in his split decision win that a lot of people thought was a robbery. And in a lot of those fights, there's a bit of grappling. Scoggins grappled a bit. Barcelos obviously grappled. His round 3 was his best round when he got the takedown. And de Andrade obviously grappled, and de Andrade is just mammoth. He's just a hard guy to deal with. I think Martinez would have his hands full with Douglas Silva, de Andrade. And yeah, he's there's a lot of grappling there too. And this fight, there's no grappling. And Said on the outside is an absolute nightmare, right? You want to close the distance on him. He moves left and right. He's very explosive. What it comes down to for me, why I can't play it, is I think Said is a lot more explosive. He hits harder. He's more live to land the big, shot that comes out of nowhere, spinning wheel kick, back fist. I really don't like Martinez's striking defense. Yes, I mentioned he got knocked out by Grant, which, Grant hits like a truck. But, I've seen him, dropped by Perez, reacted weird to boxing from Perez. Even against Morales got leg kick, calf kicked, and he gave up and still landed some boxing shots. Cup Swanson, round 2, coming back from the dead after being dropped, started to land on him. He was blowing heavy. I just think Jonathan Martinez has that slow, steady striking style where he just, it's reliable. A lot of leg kicks. He racks up points. He racks up minutes. But it doesn't exert much. And, even David Grant, when he started pressuring him, started exerting him, he kind of slowed down. You could see on his face, Grant was winning minutes right before he knocked him out. Andrew Ewell, the reason he got that split decision, because he turned it on. I just think early, I don't know how he's going to differentiate himself from Said early, with a bunch of calf kicks. When Said shots a lot more eye-catching, he's going to throw spinning kicks to the body. He's going to hit a lot harder. There's going to be no grappling to slow Said down. Said got dropped by Andrade, once or twice, or dropped once and slipped once. But again, Andrade is super explosive. He can match that speed and explosiveness and the power. Martinez mostly just kicks on the outside. If anything, I would just sprinkle maybe Jonathan Martinez by decision. I think that's his path here, a close decision where, Said slows down. If Martinez tries to grapple like he did against Carb or someone, he's going to get, guillotine potentially. I wouldn't want to grapple against Said. Anyone that's ever beaten Said, or got close to beating him was a close decision, like a 29-28 or a split with a lot of grappling outside. And I just don't trust Martinez's chin. So if you're going to play Martinez, I'll play him by decision. Let's see what that is. I don't see him, knocking out Said. And this is a big step up for him, right? This is not a washed Cup Swanson down a weight class. Vince Morales, who's been cut. Perez, who's coming off a layoff. Dvalishvili, who was a fraud. Thomas Almeida, Frankie Sain. This is a high level opponent. He could, he could live up to the hype. He could do good, but yeah. What is GRB saying? If you bet Said, just hope Said doesn't do that spinning shit where he offers his back. Look, I'm not betting Said, man. I'm not betting Said because it's worse than minus 200, so I can't bet him. And I do hate that spinning shit, but it's just like, what happens if he gives his back here? Martinez is not going to punish him. This is not It's not Barcelos, right? Not Barcelos, not Stamen, not Andrade. I actually wanted to play him against Stamen too, because of what I saw on tape. I think if that fight went longer, Stamen might have had a really competitive fight, might have won round 3. But yeah, early, I just don't want to touch. I think I would rather live bet this again. Sound like a broken record, but I don't like throwing my money on underdogs that might potentially get sparked early. You know, if it's round 1 Said, or if it's close, and then round 2 Martinez and Said's kind of slowing down, then I would like to get in live, or just sprinkle Martinez live decision. $5 plus 600. No, it's not bad. It could be better. It's a bit average. Other than that, maybe Said by KO. He's just playing crap as well. It's worse than Davey Grant's finish. I'll probably play, if I had to play anything, probably play some Said round 1, 2. I think that's the one he's the most live to get a knockout. What's his double chances? KO decision, $1.76. Submission decision, $1.95. Yeah, maybe that. That could be a play. Some double chances are good on Bet365. And you can easily, get out with Jonathan Martinez live bet. If anything, I did notice Said switched stances against Raoni Barcelos from a couple of calf kicks and really didn't like him. It looked like he was hurt. So that could be an avenue for Martinez, but I'm a big guy. I'm a big guy on athleticism and explosiveness early, right? And it's been good for me. I don't want to get in the way. I think Martinez is going to be outmatched early against someone like Said. Let's move on. See what the comments we have. Wish there was a line for stupid spinning shit. Oh, there's going to be spinning shit for sure. Said is not that stupid though. It's stupid against grapplers, but man, when he throws his spinning shit, he knocked out Ramos, which we're going to talk about now with spinning back kick. He was lighting up Stamen with a spinning back kick, then a wheel kick, then a back fist. You don't want to get in the way of that. Stamen decision, yeah, unfortunate, mate. Said sub, yeah. You're just guessing. Old mate is so chinny. Martinez is so chinny. Alrighty, Ramos versus Austin Lingo. Yeah, I see people parlaying Ramos. I guess this is a step down from, I don't know, Zabora and some of the other people that he's fought. But man, when Ramos has taken a step up, he's lost. He's been finished, right? Zabara almost knocked him out. He was lighting him up. Leroy Murphy finished him with ground and pound, which is, a bit concerning from guard. Said, spinning back kick. That was a bantamweight. Yeah, he's still a bit flaky. I wouldn't want to play him at these odds, against someone like Lingo, who does crack hard. He's been a bit unlucky not to finish a few people, Saldana and Kilburn has showed insane durability. Zalal also very durable. If anything, I wouldn't really play the dog. I wouldn't really play Ramos. What I would play here is the unders. I think the unders are very generous. Upon taping it, it's like, all right, I see why. I see why they're generous, because Lingo kind of seems tough. But he's been knocked out in round 1. He's been knocked out in round 1 in his amateurs by Charles Williams in 18 seconds. I watched that fight. A few things that just went wrong. Went for a flying knee, missed, got countered, fell over, got up, then backed up against the cage, rolled his ankle, fell over again, and then Charles Williams came in, dropped him, and then he fell to his back, and he seemed to be all there, and then ref stopped it, early stoppage. So it's a little bit annoying, but then if you look at his other fights, Zalal busted him up early in round 1, and he was kind of tired. He was getting takedowns easy. He kicked the crap out of Kilburn. Kilburn hit him with a few things. Aldana busted him up early in round 1. He survived, and he was dropping Aldana. And, Ramos, 1 minute spinning elbow. He had a spinning elbow against Tahugov. Right, Tahugov was pressure boxing him, which is what Lingo does. He was backing up. He threw one. That could have been round 1 KO if he landed properly. But Zabara also has a very good chin. Against Aljo, he kept taking him down, and he couldn't really submit him. Aljo has elite submission defense. Leroy Murphy ran through him. Garagori took him down, rear naked choked him. He has very good back takes. Said finished him. He dropped Tanaka as well with punches. So yeah, I think this under is potentially, there's got to be some value on it. But as you know, I mention it all the time. I'm a visual person, and I haven't seen Lingo finish much, so it's making me scared to play it. But I think that's why it's plus money, obviously. But It's plus 150, the under 1.5. Plus 150. I mean, if there's going to be a finish, it's probably going to be a spinning elbow early or a lingo KO early. Because I still feel like Ramos is chinny and flaky. What else? The 2.5 is a pick'em, which I guess that's accurate. There's either a 50% chance that at some point maybe Ramos gets a neck. Can he get a neck late? I mean, I think the Newsom spinning elbow was later in the fight. He knocked out Zahabi in round 3 with a spinning elbow. It's just which one do you want to play? Which one do you want to play? It's interesting. I also feel like Ramos slows down too. It's a tough one. I haven't made up my mind, but that under is the only thing I'll play here. Like UFC betting experience says, Ramos sub plus 330. I don't want to ignore that, spinning elbow. So I'd rather just play the under 1.5 potentially at a better line. How often does he get a late sub? Not often. He loves to strike too. So yeah, the unders will pass. I just haven't pulled the trigger. Krylov, Ryan Spann. I already talked about this last week for the main event. I had Spann round 1 sub at $13. That would have cashed because that was when I made the 5,000. I made 800 on the UFC, and that Spann would have made me 2K there. It would have cashed because everything was going my way that weekend. So unfortunately, it's been rescheduled at 215. I don't know what that means. It's 3 rounds now. I did play the under 1.5. Don't get excited though. I might not keep it because it was at a better line. I capped it at 60% going under. In the 5-rounder, I thought they'd be maybe more patient. I don't know. I have to watch some interviews now. The only reason I don't cap it more than 60% because I think Krylov is durable and he's pretty likely to grapple here, and Spann can't really stop takedowns. He might get up once or twice, but once he gasses, I think Spann might ground him out. And then, I see people saying, Krylov might knock him out on the ground, but he doesn't knock out much people on the ground. He grounded out Volkan. Once he had a close rear naked choke in round 1, he wasn't really close to finishing in rounds 2 and 3. Just sat on top of him. Same with, Glover. Same with Walker. So he's just more concerned about grounding you out, holding on to you. Obviously, he almost knocked out Paul Craig, but that was different. It's funny that the one person he shouldn't sit in his guard and ground and pound, he chose to ground and pound and then got submitted. So yeah, he's got a bit of a lower Q. He was cracked by Volkan early. He put his head in guillotines against Glover. So what I've done is I've gone back to the well. I've played $200 on Ryan Spann, submission 1 or 2, because I think Nikita's not trustworthy and because I think he might get cracked. I think his first reaction is going to be shoot. He might put himself in a guillotine. That's less risk than going the under 1.5. So I'll probably just stick with that. I'll see if there is any value on the under. But yeah, it's a crazy volatile fight. So we'll leave it at that. Alrighty, co-main event: Alexander Volkov versus Alexander Romanov. I played some early Romanov. I watched his whole career. Volkov, he can be taken down. It's easy to, find a lot of fights. The Blades fight, Tabura fight. What else? Verdum fight. There's a lot of fights where he's getting taken down. Aspinall. Since the Curtis Blade fights, he put on 30 pounds of muscle. We haven't really seen him on the ground too much off his back with the extra 30 pounds, other than the Aspinall fight, which was a massive red flag. I did play, Aspinall as a dog there. I didn't expect him to just take him down and submit him, but it did look horrible there. He did have okay get-ups back in the day, but he's plotting. He was always plotting and gassy, and now with the extra 30 pounds, maybe the get-ups are even worse. And we saw that in the Aspinall fight. Aspinall was just a lot more faster and fleet of foot. Marcin Tybura couldn't take him down with the extra 30 pounds, but Tybura, I'll mention all the time, I break him down. He doesn't have the best wrestling. His best takedown is when he catches a kick or when he locks his hands behind his back. He couldn't really lock his hands behind Volkov's back. Volkov is huge. His takedown defense is actually okay when you clinch up with him. It's just when you go shoot on his legs, or single leg him, which Romanov will go for single legs, but he also does go for a lot of clinch takedowns. He couldn't because he's a Greco dude. He goes for slams and stuff. So, yeah, and I think Volkov has underrated jiu-jitsu. He survived with Vadum, but he was still 2 rounds or three rounds down in that fight, and he ended up winning in round 4. I think Romanov wins at a pretty high clip. I think he's a lot more athletic, a lot more powerful, a lot more faster. He should be able to get takedowns, no problem. He's taken everyone down, even Juan Espino. Had some struggles with Lima. He still took him down. Yeah, at that point, is he going to do what Aspinall did? I would have been pretty confident that he won't, because no one's done that to Volkov up until Aspinall. And, straight armbar as well. Straight arm lock, which is a bit of a cop-out submission. Almost looked like he gave up. We've seen Romanov go for Kimura against Sherman, gave up on it, and resorted to ground and pound. When was the last time Volkov was taken out? Yeah, in the Aspinall fight, he did get up the first time. He scooted his way back to the cage and he got up. At the moment I have the over 1.5 because I feel like Romanov will take him down. Volk probably survives, gets into round 2. He might do good in round 2 because he's been getting takedowns over Espino, and it was and Bandera in rounds 2, even though he's kind of slowed down. He might be better with this new this new body that he has. Might not be as gassy. But yeah, I don't know. It's a fight that I don't really want to play. Obviously, I beat the line movement on Romanov, but I don't really want that line. I don't like it. I feel like in rounds 2 and 3, losing to Tabura, who has no power, he threw a head kick, ended up on his back, and Tabura got on top. If he's gassed against Volkov on the outside, man, Volkov's going to tip him to the gut. He's going to throw long punches. He's got decent power. Tabura was outstriking, but there was no real danger. But there's danger against Volkov if you're on the outside, with that extra weight. And then again, Volkov couldn't even knock out Tabura, when they were gassed in rounds 2 and 3, who Tabura, notoriously chinny. So yeah, I've got a unit on Romanov at that juice line, just because I feel he's winning round 1 a high clip. He might win round 2, and if he can survive, he'll win. But then also, I don't want to have money on a gasser like Romanov if he doesn't get the finish in rounds 2 and 3, when he's going to be at the mercy of Volkov. This is the perfect live bet fight. I'm hoping this one will be long after I finished my jiu-jitsu comp. It says here it starts at noon. Might be able to live bet this one. But yeah, I have the over 1.5, but I'm scared of it just because how Volkov folded and Romanov round 1 is his best path to victory. So I might just cash out everything in live bet. But yeah, who knows? Who knows how this fight's going to go? Maybe Volkov rounds 2 or 3 KO. Romanov round 1 sub. I think both the guys are durable. Yeah, just a bad style matchup for Volkov early, but then later on, who the hell knows? Right, front kick MMA. Let's read this comment. Romanov was fighting at elevation in his last fight. Head to Pura there. Don't think he'll gas as hard here. Volkov bodywork could be nasty though. Got Romanov early and looking at under 2.5. Yeah, it's a tough one. I don't think he will gas. He shouldn't gas as high at elevation, but then again, he gassed against Espino. But there was a lot more wrestling there, and Espino's a lot more athletic and a better wrestler. And also, I don't want to rely on the under 2.5 because Volkov couldn't finish Tabura at the under 2.5 or anyone really. It took him 4 rounds to finish Vadum, so maybe my over 1.5 is the best play here, but I just hate over 1.5s. I always tail someone else, and then I just end up cashing him out. It's minus money. Yeah, I'll probably cash out everything. All right, main event of the evening, and I've got a strong take here. Makes me a little bit nervous because I was wrong about Garn and I was wrong about Andrade, but yeah, I got Peter Yan at the early line, $1.57. $1.57, which is what, 63%, which I think is accurate. Maybe you can make him 70% implied. Yeah, I don't want to talk too much about it, but I will just because it's one of the not many fights that I have a bet on, and it's a lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people saying Merab has value. They're fading Peter Yan. He's coming off a lot of losses. They're saying he drops rounds, he drops minutes, he's not trustworthy. So yeah, let's address it, right? So Personally, I think this is a bad matchup for Merab. I think Jan should be the favorite, right? There's no doubt about it. If you watch Merab's fights against, just the last four, Dotson, Stamen, Moraes, Aldo, right? Dotson got up every single time, stuffed most of his takedowns, and still lost to 30-27, right? So Dotson doesn't throw. He's well washed, past his prime, and he couldn't really get anything going. And Dvalishvili just won by holding him against the cage and holding onto his back and kneeing him into the thigh. Petr Yan's not going to do that. Petr Yan is really good at amazing get-ups, amazing at getting up the cage. First thing he does is breaks the hands, watch multiple fights, gets up, addresses the hands, breaks away, and then he punishes you. He punishes you for clinching up with him. He can take down anyone. He's got elite wrestling, in my opinion. The Cody Stamen fight, I had Cody Stamen in a big parlay with Strickland on the same card when he was fighting Jotko, and I was sweating. He got wobbled with a jab against Cody Stamen in rounds one. He got taken down in the second round by Stamen. When the fight ended, I was really surprised it wasn't a split. One judge gave Stamen round 1, and one judge gave him round 3. So he could have easily, he won 2 rounds on the scorecards. It was such a close fight. And Stamen's gassy, not much volume, definitely not as much power as Petr Yan, right? Then against Marlon Moraes, right? I've been trying to fade Merab because of all these things that I've seen on tape, right? Then against Marlon Moraes, I played Marlon Moraes round 1 KO. He was getting countered constantly up until he got dropped, right? He survived, good on him. He's got good heart, but his striking defense is horrible, right? We've seen that over and over again. Then he fights Aldo, right? Nothing happens in round 1. He holds Aldo against the cage for majority of the fight. Actually, he decided to stand up a little bit with Aldo. Aldo throws one knee or one punch. The crowd goes crazy, and 2 of the 3 judges give Aldo round 1, right? Off of 2 strikes, because he couldn't take Aldo down, he couldn't hold him down. So the thing is, people that are saying that, Merab has a lot of volume, Petr Yan throws away rounds, he's going to get held up against the cage, he's going to lose. He's got good takedown defense, but he's going to lose. He's going to lose rounds just on cage control. Merab, he can't control Yan for a long period of time. He can't take him down. He can't hold him down. When they're out in the center, Petr Yan's going to have a lot more eye-catching strikes. Yeah, he might take a bit to get his reads, but Merab is not a high-level striker, right? Petr Yan is dropping minutes to Sean O'Malley, Corey Sandhagen, right? Jose Aldo, elite level strikers. He's trying, even Jimmy Rivera, excellent boxer. He's trying to figure him out. Because he doesn't want to get cracked clean. He's trying to find the holes. And these are long, tall guys. Even Aljamain Sterling, he came out like he was on rabies, throwing teeps up the middle, spamming knees, dropped them with a knee. And eventually, by the end of that round, Jan still dropped him in round 1. And people say that he gives up round 1 and 2. He got his reads early and still dropped him, right? He's definitely going to be hitting Merab clean because Merab is so wild, so hittable. So yeah, I think that addresses most of the stuff. He might hold Jan against the cage. I think Jan's going to take him down later on in the round. I think Jan's going to land big body kicks, big leg kicks. Merab reacts horrendously to leg kicks, right? Just watch his Aldo fights. Just watch his Stamen fights. He's doing full 360 spins when people leg kick him. So bad reactions to punches, to jabs, bad reactions to kicks, body kicks. He's gonna have to, blitz in to try catch Petr Yan. Jan's gonna catch him with a big shot. Jan's really good at stealing rounds. I had Corey Sandhagen by decision, and he looked good until Yan dropped him, and then it was just downhill from there. I think this is a good matchup for Merab. This is not a striker. This is not a really long range striker like O'Malley, like Sterling. I know Sterling's not a striker, but he's so much better at striking than Merab, like Corey Sandhagen, like Aldo. Merab's going to be bouncing around, try to come in. He's going to get cracked. He might hold Jan against the cage. Jan's going to get up. He's going to reverse. He's going to punish him. Let's say he gives up round 2. Let's say he gives up round 3. Yeah, the longer this fight goes, Jan is going to pull away. I think this is one of the better matchups for him in a while. No one that's actually tried to proactively grapple Jan has had success, right? When Sterling actually started to practically constantly grapple with him, he was getting tossed around, thrown around, tripped, slammed on his head. He was doing good when he was striking. Same as Corey Sandhagen, right? Striking is okay. As soon as he started to clinch up, falling apart. Obviously, Sterling backpacked him. Yeah, no one. Raya Faber got knocked out, but trying to clinch up with him. You can't proactively grapple with Jan. As soon as Jose Aldo went for a takedown against Jan reversed him, slammed him down, and then he hurt him with a body shot and stole round 2. So you have to be a good striker to take minutes away from Peter Yan. Right? Essentially, Merab is messed up here. If you're going to play Merab, play him by decision. There's no way he's going to knock out Yan, a durable person like Yan, with some of the stupid strikes that he lands. But yeah, still, I don't want to go heavy on it, right? I've got 2 units at $1.56, 57. The judges hate Yan. He's Russian. They hate him. But, you can make an argument, O'Malley, landed more damage. It's fair enough. He busted him up. There was blood involved. Merab is just, all the shots that he lands, Yan won't react to him, and everything that Yan throws, he'll react. It's going to be a little bit sweaty because there's going to be some cage push. But if the judges are proper, and they value damage over control, which they usually do, then Yan should win maybe 3 rounds to 2 at worst case. Some people think he'll finish Merab. Maybe he will. I don't know. I can't really make that read. But he does seem quite hittable to me, Merab. So yeah, this is a massive step up. All right. Let's address the comments. Jan finishes Merab. Maybe. Kurt Kwiatkowski, how are you? Welcome, mate. I got to know your backstory, Steve. How'd you get into all this? All right, keep it quick. 5 or 6 years ago, I always used to gamble. Everyone in the family gambles a little bit on soccer here or there, multis, throwing my money away, no research. And then I used to go watch at my friend's house. And we used to just keep betting. And then I said to myself, man, why don't I never wanted to tape fights because I have an uncle that lives with his mum, my grandma, in a little village in Croatia, and he tapes fights and he writes notes and he always loses. And he always spends his welfare money on gambling. And I'm like, I don't want to be like that. It seems like a miserable way to live. And I was putting it off. And then when I finally said, I'm not going to be like that, I'm going to take fights and take it seriously, I started cashing big. And, I went from $100 units to 200 to 400 to 500. And 6 years later, I'm doing this full time. So yeah, just started out betting with my friends, and just whatever I do, I like to do it properly. So I just started taking it seriously. Started taping fights, started taping more, started writing more notes. Obviously had ups and downs, winning and losing. And yeah, now it's a passion. Wouldn't do anything else. Than tape fights 24/7. FIFA XX Gaming. Hope Merab case pushes for first round and we can get a live bet. See, that's the thing. He's not going to be able to push Jan. This is not washed Jose Aldo that's retiring. This is not John Dodson. He couldn't even cage push Cody Stamann. So I think people are going to be in for a shock. I could be wrong. Every time I go on a tangent, I end up being wrong. That's why I don't like planting my flag, because I look like an idiot whenever I plant my flag. Sometimes I'm right. But yeah, this is a levels match. Betting experience. Bookie's so smart. Jan dropped round 1 last few fights and odds didn't move. Make sure to have some pre. Exactly, mate. Jan was Sterling in the first fight was kicking the crap out of Jan, dropped him with a knee, and the odds were horrible. And then Jan dropped him, and then they were just unplayable. The bookies know, and it's not so much the bookies, it's the people. The people can't wait. Like we saw Johan Lioness versus who's that really bad guy? Johan Lioness versus can't remember his name. The last guy that he beat, Gary decisioned him as well. He's been cut since. Everyone's like, oh, bet this guy after round 1 because Johan's going to gas. Johan didn't exert any energy, and people still bet on the other dude. And he was a massive favorite for the whole fight. And I was like, I wanted to hedge. I had Johan pre-bet as an underdog, and I wanted to hedge, and I couldn't. So I don't think that's the bookies. I think that's just people. They're calling up and they're live betting. They're pulling the trigger too soon without actually seeing anyone slow down or, people a bit shoehorn in their results and their live bets without actually the live bet being available. Giallo, any parlays for this card? No, I don't, mate. Ramos and JJ seems to be a popular parlay. Jan seems to be a popular parlay piece. If I didn't get a good line on him, I would have parlayed him and then hedge out. But yeah, let's go over. I'll do the best bets and we'll get out of here. I went on for longer than I should have. Okay. What do we got? Yeah, so Harris, Jared Gooden, dog or pass, or I'll play the under 1.5. Hopefully it's a good line. Tyson Nam, Bruno Silva, dog or pass. I haven't played it yet. Just wait for the line. Just don't understand people hammering Bruno at this line. Gravely, dog or pass. Don't want to touch this fight. JJ Aldridge, JJ by decision most likely. Round 3 decision if you want to be safe. I don't know how I feel about it. Batista by sub. I don't really like the juiced under 1.5. I think sub kind of covers you. He might kick the crap out of him in the clinch like he did to Perrin. But eventually I feel like Guido will dive into a sub of some sort. Dumas versus Josh Friend. This under 1.5 at Pick'em could be a good play. I'm going to have to look into that. But yeah, Josh Friend, dog or pass. No way I can play Dumas at minus 200. Rafael Assunção, David Grant. I actually ended up living David Grant on the live stream. Grant KO decision plus money. Grant KO. Unfortunately, I think Assunção is getting sparked here. Lucas Bresky, Carl Williams. Yeah, I can't play Williams at minus 200. Bresky has good get-ups. I just can't play him either because he will be on his back, at least for the first 5 minutes. Petrino, this is my biggest play so far. 2 units on the other 2.5. I might reduce. I have to retake this fight. Volatile fight. I think there's a lot of good options here. KO under 1.5 even. But yeah, Said Nurmagomedov. I get the dog or pass. I just can't play it personally. I'd rather live bet Martinez or sprinkle him by decision. I think he's live to get sparked at some point. Ramos, Lingo, nothing here. I'll play the unders. Covers Lingo, covers Ramos flaking, covers the submission, covers the spinning elbow. Krylov Span, $200 on Span round 1 or 2 submission. Just a tiny sprinkle. I have Romanov. I have the over 1.5. I'll probably cash out both. It's a good live bet fight. But yeah, Romanov cruises. He definitely gets a takedown in the first. And yeah, I got 2 units on Jan at $1.56. I don't know. I might not even keep 2 units. We'll see. I just don't like. There's some dodgy stuff about the fight. I don't like how much judges hate Jan. So we'll see. But I think that's a big step up in competition. Henry sub round 3. Oh Jesus, that's a crazy number, man. I personally thought there's no way Henry subs. What's his name? Gravely, from what I've seen on tape. I was keeping that in my mind, and he mostly uses subs to get up. So I don't know if that's going to happen here, but man, that number is crazy. It's possible. Addicted to Combat. What's going on, brother? Thanks for joining in. A bit late, but better late than never. All right, so best bets. It's going to have to be a Victor Petrino under 2.5, even though I haven't finalized it yet. I mean, that line is crazy, and it's moved heaps, so people are seeing what I'm seeing. Whatever the stake that I end up keeping on it, it's going to have to be one of my bets. And then what else? I mean, I don't really have much else. I've got Jan. Nothing in the Volkov fight is going to be my best bet. I don't like any of that. Probably something in the David Grant. It might be the under 1.5 in the Gooden fight. Hopefully it's a pick'em. Hopefully it's pick'em, but probably won't be. Josh ran under 1.5. I'll have to look into that. Yeah, it's going to be Jan. Fuck it. It's going to be Jan. I'll just say that. It's a bit of a cop-out, Jan at juiced odds. But this is a levels fight. So under 2.5 in the Petrino fight. And Jan, $1.60 is my 2 favorite bets. Like I said, I won't have time for the best bets. I need to shut off from gambling. I need to look at some Bellator LFA and then shut down, meditate, think about the comp, visualize, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. I think UFC Betting Experience posted a Bellator pick. Let me just have a look. Goiti Yamauchi moneyline plus 100 and Tafuk. That's right. I'm not a fan of Tafuk. I can't get a read on that fight. It's a 5-rounder as well, but I got to look into Goichi MVP. Other than that, thanks everyone for listening. Like and subscribe. All right. Stick on my Twitter for my final bets. Jump on the Sherdog. And I'll see you all next week when I have a lot more time and no competition and I can hopefully get back to the grind. Thank you for listening and good luck with your bets.